When the body suffers, the mind often follows, weighed down by fear, tension, and uncertainty. Yet within you exists a power often overlooked, an inner ability to restore balance and harmony faster than you imagine possible. Prayer, when performed with full presence and sincerity, is not merely words, it is the alignment of your entire being toward one purpose. Healing. The moment you bring your attention entirely into the present, focusing not on the illness, but on the wholeness you seek, the body begins to respond. Cells listen to the messages of the mind. A thought of wellness, deeply believed, carries more influence than the thought of sickness repeated 1,000 times. The key is not speed, but depth. Healing in seconds is possible when your mind no longer wavers between doubt and faith. To achieve this, begin with stillness. Breathe slowly, drawing air deep into your lower abdomen, feeling the breath anchor you in the present moment. On each exhale, release the tension in your body. As your breath slows, your heart rate steadies, and your mind clears. The prayer becomes more than a request. It becomes a command spoken from the deepest part of your being. You are not asking for healing, you are embodying it. This conviction sends a signal through every nerve, every vessel, every cell, telling them to return to harmony. Focus on the feeling as if the healing has already occurred. Imagine warmth spreading to the afflicted area, light illuminating every dark space within. Do not rush the prayer, even when the mind says, seconds. The spirit knows that time bends in the presence of unwavering focus. Healing becomes an immediate experience, not because the world changes instantly, but because your inner world shifts into a state where sickness cannot remain. Remember, the most powerful prayer is not loud, it is clear. It carries no fear, no hesitation. When you pray with this clarity, your body aligns with your mind, and your mind aligns with the greater energy that sustains all life. In that moment, seconds can hold the power of eternity, and the impossible becomes possible. The disease loses its grip, and you rise, not just restored in body, but strengthened in spirit. When the body is afflicted by illness, the first battle is often not with the disease itself, but with the thoughts and emotions that arise within us, for fear, uncertainty, and doubt weaken the natural healing response while clarity, focus, and belief strengthen it. And this is why prayer, when approached with a deeply concentrated mind, has the potential to create transformation in moments rather than days or months. The true essence of a prayer that heals in seconds is not in the mere recitation of words, but in the way the mind, body, and spirit unite in a single, unwavering intention toward restoration. And this begins with the mastery of stillness. For when you slow your breathing and draw each inhale deep into the lower abdomen, the body's stress responses are deactivated. Oxygen flow increases, and the nervous system moves from a state of fight or flight into one of rest and repair, which is the ideal state for healing to occur. And as the breath anchors you in the present moment, your focus shifts away from the symptoms of disease toward the vision of perfect health. And in this moment, the prayer becomes more than a request to something external. It becomes the conscious activation of the inner healer within you. For science has long observed that thoughts create measurable changes in the body's chemistry, and a mind fixed on wellness signals the body to produce hormones, proteins, and immune responses that combat illness, while a mind fixated on sickness perpetuates its hold. Therefore, the secret to rapid healing lies in the removal of inner conflict. For if one part of you prays while another doubts, the energy is divided and the signal to the body is unclear. But when faith is absolute, when the image of your healed self is so vivid that you can feel it as a present reality, the body has no choice but to respond, for it is built to follow the mind's leadership. And so you must close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let your prayer rise from the deepest part of your being, not as a plea, but as a declaration, envisioning light or warmth flowing through the area of pain or imbalance, seeing every cell awaken and return to harmony. And in this heightened state of awareness, time loses its usual grip, so that seconds feel expansive, charged with energy, and capable of carrying immense transformation. And though the outside world may insist that healing takes weeks or years, within the stillness of prayer, you realize that the body can reorganize itself far faster than you have been led to believe, for you are no longer waiting for health to arrive. You are embodying it, living it in the now, and the disease cannot coexist with such a powerful state of alignment, and so the shift occurs sometimes subtly, sometimes with unmistakable immediacy, but always as a result of your complete union of thought, breath, and intention. For in this state you are not separate from the source of life, you are an expression of it, and as such, the energy that sustains the beating of your heart and the functioning of your cells is the same energy that can dissolve sickness in an instant. And once you understand this truth, prayer ceases to be a ritual bound by time and becomes a living force, one that, when focused without distraction, can indeed turn seconds into moments of miraculous change. Illness does not only affect the body, it weaves itself into the thoughts, the emotions, and even the smallest patterns of daily life. And it is within these hidden corners of the mind where the most decisive battles for health are fought, because the body will always follow the commands it receives from the mind, whether those commands are conscious or not. And when a person prays with complete presence, sincerity, and belief, they are delivering a command to every cell, every organ, every system within, instructing them to return to harmony. This is why a prayer that heals in seconds is not dependent on the words chosen, but on the depth of focus behind them. For when the mind becomes still and breath deepens, the body's stress responses begin to dissolve, cortisol levels drop, immune functions activate, and blood flows freely to where it is most needed, creating a physiological environment where healing is not only possible, but can happen with surprising speed. And this process becomes even more powerful when the one praying releases all attachment to doubt, for doubt scatters the signal, weakening its effect, while unwavering belief condenses it into a single, potent stream of intent, so that every part of the body receives the same clear message of restoration. And in this state, the distinction between thought and reality begins to blur, for the mind experiences the vision of health as if it were already present, and the body, incapable of telling the difference, begins to mirror this vision in physical form. Thus, the prayer becomes not a request for healing to occur at some future point, but an embodiment of healing in the present moment. And the result can feel like a sudden shift. Lightness where there was heaviness, ease where there was pain, clarity where there was confusion. Because in those moments of pure alignment, the normal flow of time seems irrelevant, and seconds carry within them the power of days or weeks of gradual change. The foundation of this rapid transformation lies in the unity of three forces: thought, breath, and energy, for thought directs the intention. Breath anchors the body in stillness, and energy is the unseen current that carries the message into the deepest levels of the self. And when all three align, the body instinctively moves toward balance. As naturally as water flows downhill, however, to reach this state requires more than a passing wish for wellness. It demands full presence. The kind of presence where every inhale draws in not just air, but the certainty of life. And every exhale releases not just carbon dioxide, but tension, fear, and the weight of illness. And as this cycle repeats, the mind begins to quiet, the heart steadies, and the body opens itself to receive the full force of the prayer. And in this openness, the healing is not forced but allowed, like a wound closing itself the moment the skin is no longer disturbed. In such moments, what many call a miracle is, in truth, the natural state of the body once all interference from fear died out and resistance has been removed. And this is why stories of healing in seconds are not bound to any single culture, religion, or time. They are a universal human capacity, available to anyone willing to focus completely, breathe deeply, and believe without hesitation, for in that state, the invisible becomes tangible, the intangible becomes felt, and the impossible becomes simply another name for what you have not yet experienced. And it is in that experience that the body remembers its original blueprint of health and moves toward it with speed and precision that defies ordinary understanding. Healing that appears to happen in seconds is often misunderstood as something supernatural, when in truth it is the natural intelligence of the body responding instantly to a perfectly clear and aligned signal from the mind. For the human body is not a collection of mechanical parts to be repaired one at a time, but a living system in which every cell is in constant communication with every other cell, exchanging electrical impulses, chemical messages, and subtle energetic signals that shape the state of health at any given moment. And when you engage in a prayer with total conviction, you are not passively hoping for improvement. You are broadcasting a powerful instruction to this network, altering the very environment in which disease exists. And this change can happen faster than most believe, because illness is not only a physical disruption, but also a pattern held in the mind and energy field. And when that pattern is replaced with one of complete wellness, the body reorganizes itself accordingly. The breath plays a vital role in this, for deep, steady breathing oxygenates the blood, improves circulation, and relaxes the nervous system, creating conditions in which the body can shift from a defensive, stressed state to a state of repair and regeneration almost instantly. And as the body relaxes, the mind is freed from its grip on fear, and this is when the prayer penetrates the deepest layers of consciousness, bypassing the analytical mind that questions and doubts, and reaching the intuitive, subconscious level that governs much of the body's automatic healing processes, allowing the transformation to be felt not as a gradual easing, but as a sudden, undeniable release of pain, pressure, or fatigue. And in that moment, seconds are not measured by the clock, but by the depth of presence and clarity achieved. For in the realm of focused awareness, time can seem to stretch or collapse, and the healing that takes place feels immediate because, in truth, the body has simply returned to its natural state of balance without resistance. The key to unlocking this speed of recovery is learning to approach prayer as both an inner science and a sacred art, understanding that it is not the loudness of the voice or the length of the words that matters, but the purity of intention and the ability to sustain that intention without distraction. for a scattered mind sends scattered signals, and the body responds with confusion, while a unified mind sends a concentrated stream of instruction that the body can follow without hesitation. This is why, before beginning the prayer, one must enter a state of internal stillness, free from the noise of daily worries and fears, and this stillness is cultivated through conscious breathing, relaxed posture, and the deliberate choice to focus only on the vision of complete health, imagining it not as something to be achieved, but as something already true in this very moment, for when the mind accepts this reality, the body has no choice but to follow, and it is in this state of agreement between thought, energy, and matter that the so-called miraculous becomes normal. The pain fades, the symptoms diminish, and the energy once consumed by illness becomes available for life again. The world outside may measure this in seconds, but within the experience, there is no sense of waiting, only the knowing that health is present now. And it is this knowing that sustains the change, preventing the old pattern of illness from reasserting itself, because once the mind has experienced such a shift, it carries the memory of it, making it easier to return to that state whenever needed. And this is why those who learn to pray in this way not only heal faster, but also remain healthier, for they have mastered the art of speaking directly to the body in its own language, a language of intention, breath, and energy that, when aligned, can dissolve even the heaviest burdens in what appears to be a single, transformative moment. The lasting effect of a prayer that heals in seconds depends on the ability to maintain the state of mind and body that allowed the transformation to occur. For true healing is not simply the disappearance of symptoms, but the restoration of harmony on every level. And once this harmony is experienced, it must be nurtured through continued awareness, for the mind that created the healing can also create its undoing if it returns to patterns of fear, doubt, or emotional unrest, which is why the practice of prayer should not be reserved for moments of crisis, but woven into the fabric of daily life as a way to continually renew and strengthen the connection between thought, breath, and energy. This daily practice does not need to be long or complicated. For even a few minutes of mindful breathing, clear visualization of health, and sincere gratitude can reinforce the neural pathways and energetic patterns that support wellness, making the body more resilient and less prone to illness in the future. And as this becomes a way of living, the individual begins to notice subtle shifts in perception. They are more attuned to the signals of the body, more aware of the influence of their thoughts, and more skilled at redirecting their focus toward balance the moment they sense it wavering, so that small imbalances are corrected before they grow into larger problems. And this is where the power of seconds becomes most profound. For in the same way that healing can begin in a single breath, so can the maintenance of health. And those who cultivate this awareness find that they are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances, for they carry within themselves a tool of transformation that can be used at will. The mind becomes a healer, the breath becomes medicine, and the body becomes an ally, and together they form a system of self-restoration that is both ancient and timeless, beyond the boundaries of culture or doctrine, grounded in the universal truth that the energy which animates life also has the power to restore it in an instant when called upon with clarity, faith, and focus. And it is in this understanding that the prayer ceases to be something separate from daily living and becomes, Instead, the natural language of the soul speaking to the body, a language that, once mastered, makes the extraordinary an everyday reality.